This is meteorologist Ashley Morgan here, and we got some changes on the way to our Ohio weather. We're going to be keeping an eye here on some changes, including what's called an omega block. That's going to be bringing in some drier and sunnier conditions, not necessarily warmer conditions, other than will be near normal for this time of year. Of course, this is for your late May, early June especially. We'll be seeing that, but we're going to be seeing that change coming in as we get into, especially next week. So, with the rain we've seen the last couple of days, boy, we'll take the drier conditions out there, but you'll see how this is going to impact Ohio. We'll have a omega high, which is going to be attached by, which usually is attached by two lows in the Pacific, and of course we have in this case I should say we'll have one on the Pacific and one near the Atlantic with a strong high pressure system attached to it. And it's going to move in such a way that we're going to be stuck underneath that high. And that high pressure system is going to keep things very warm or very dry and warmer than the last couple of days we've seen across Ohio. And you can see this omega block is going to be, we're going to be on the high end of it, the high pressure side of the omega block. And this is going to keep things rather dry, but the problem is going to be how long it's going to be around. Well, we're not going to be too concerned necessarily about drought conditions. What we do got to be concerned about is if it does last too long, then we got to be a little concerned about drought conditions. So let's take a look here at our weather models for your forecast. We'll see here the omega block is starting to develop. This is a look here. You can see the low across the Rockies extending as a omega sign. It looks like the Greek letter omega, which is why it's given that name. And you can see this block area here of high pressure, and that's what these darker shades mean. And that's going to continue to move eastward toward the Great Lakes into areas like Ohio. And we're going to be stuck in this area where we're going to see quite the dry conditions, mainly sunny skies, very little cloud cover out there as well. And we're going to see that persist. This is into your Tuesday, June 2nd, and you can see that omega high is still looking quite strong out there. But it does look like we have a little bit of good news, at least for this weather model, that we might potentially be on the other side of a new omega block that develops as we get into the weekend of our first week of June. So something to keep an eye on, of course. But that's just your little tidbit of your weather forecast for our starting off our first week of June. Gotta keep doing these, of course, especially gonna try to do these once a week, of course, for our weather forecasts. But we got an omega on the way. Enjoy the dry weather while you can. Of course, we have been seeing those flooding conditions, and hopefully we're going to see some improving conditions. And that is your weekly weather forecast.